I'm in the basement trying to hide from my kids and try to do a quick video. The last video I made, I messed up. They kept talking and stuff. But, okay. So let's get into it. Where am I supposed to put this? Okay. So, I'm gonna make this quick, and this is just a draft. And this is basically just a summary. If y'all want to go over anything else, y'all could inbox me with other details, or y'all could write under my Facebook, Tamia Bolton, what else details y'all want to hear. But basically, to sum everything up, is I have 5 kids back to back. Y'all know that. So I was fine with that. I was fine with that lifestyle. I wanted to get married and have a lot of kids, and that's exactly what I did. But a lot of stuff happened in between that I did not expect. I wasn't really ready for. So, I had a lot of bad influences, basically, like, oh, your husband got a vasectomy, now you don't have to be pinned down and, get pregnant and breastfeed and all this. Now you could come party with us, you could come hang out with us, you could do that and that. Oh, you never was able to live a lifestyle because you was always home with your kids, da 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 da. So basically, I asked my husband, I'm like, what do you think? Do you think I should start, like, doing stuff, like, casually hanging out with my friends and taking the car and doing this and that? And he's like, sure, whatever, I'm fine with it. So, basically, I end up doing stuff, and I got used to that, being out the house and stuff, because the whole entire time, I keep talking, Mom, Mommy. She found me. She found me in the basement. So the entire time, everything seemed smooth. Like, okay, well, I was always home with the kids. I wanted it that way. Anytime anyone ever asked me, did I need a break, I will always say no. But, that's Samia. And that was our last baby. So it's like, okay, now it's my time to get to know who I am. I was always that mom. I was always that wife. So let me explore. So basically, bad influences kept happening. And, once people start getting in your head, we had basically, I don't know how long you guys been following me, but let me know how long. But we used to have certain content back in the day, and we were going through money problems. So I brought it to his attention. I'm like, we should start making some type of content again, or I should, be able to send certain stuff to certain people for money and stuff. Just stupid stuff. Something that now I clearly wouldn't do. But that sparked clearly that would start an argument, because it's like, okay, back in the day it was like, okay, me and you were just dating or whatever, so we would, make videos or whatever, but we matured, so we end up deleting all that stuff, all that content. But I'm like, since people have seen it anyway, why can't I just, do that again? Like, basically, like, content for money. And so we got into it. Basically, got into a domestic violence case, about that. Like, all this stuff is cringe. Like, the more and more I go back, and years of stuff, it's like everything is so cringe. Every year I go back, it's like everything is so cringe to talk about. But this is just from 2022. If I went even lower, I don't want to hear about that. But like I said, if it comes to it, like, y'all want to hear about some stuff, maybe I ask my husband, do he feel comfortable me talk about this or whatever. But for now, this is just what I'm talking about, 2022 and up. So, like any person, yeah, we're going to get I'm not going to go into detail. The case is over, but yeah, which led him to, go to jail. And, me, that kind of, what happened to lead him to go to jail kind of, traumatized me. But he ended up getting out, duh. And even though we had an overprotection against each other, I did not care because, duh, that's my husband. So we're still going, behind the cops' back, seeing each other and all that. But like, yeah, small shit will come up, and then the cops will get brought up because now it's basically like, oh well, now since we got a case, um, you know, it's more drama. So he ended up just moving out and saying, I'm not doing this. I'm not keep sneaking behind and doing all this. This is too much for me, which led me to be back with the kids. Back being 100% back with the kids, not being able to party, not being able to do this after being able to do that for a couple months. So now I'm used to it because I'm like, I just spent 5-6 years being a stay-at-home wife, mother. But then I get a taste of something, and then now I'm stuck with being a mom again. I know it sounds selfish and stuff, but I always talked about moms. I'm like, oh well, you're not with your kids and all that stuff, and made fun of them. But then I'm like, I got a taste of it, and I'm like, I think it's fun having a break. I think it's fun doing that. I think it's fun doing that. So I get mad at him. I'm like, well, even if me and you are not together, you keep coming over here anyway. You need to go get your kids. Come get your effing kids and stuff like that. All this stuff was all over Facebook. So, to make a long story short, he did not come get his kids. So I was like, okay, well, since you don't want to come get your kids, I'm going to say that I'm leaving them at the hospital, because at the time I was going through like some lunatic type stuff. So I'm like, I'm gonna leave them there. I did not leave them there, but I said that as a threat, and I put off of all on Facebook, which was stupid. Like I said, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that was the right thing to do. I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm gonna be like, no, I was stupid for even doing that. I should have just stayed a mother. I should not have cared that he did not want to come around us because he was afraid he would get put back in jail. But I'm like, whoa, somebody could not drop the kids off or something. Like, so I got mad at him because, like I said, for the past 5-6 years, it's always been me. I'm always the one home with the kids. I'm always the one, like I said, always with the kids. So it's like, it was strange. I finally get my freedom, and now I'm back with the kids. So now I'm like, okay, bet. You don't want your kids, so I'm gonna leave them here. And then that's when CPS got involved, and they was like, oh, so you leaving your kids at the hospital by themselves? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I just said that to make my baby daddy upset because stupid stuff. Like I said, young and dumb. I just said that to make him mad because I wanted him to come get his kids, but he wasn't coming to get his kids. But, since it was already a case open that it was a domestic violence case, they just gave the kids to my grandparents. And then my mom and dad. And then that's when I continue to party. I continue to do all this and that. I admit, if I could go back in time, I would take that all back. Like, it wasn't worth partying. It wasn't worth doing all this crazy stuff. But I became, once you get a taste of something, you want to keep following that. And yeah, someone that's locked in a house, basically, rather it was myself saying, oh, I want to be this type of mother or not. It's like, yeah, I got a little bit of taste of not being a mother, because I'm always breastfeeding. I'm always giving birth. I'm always around the kids. I never got a break. I never even wanted a break. But like I said, once people kept talking about it, oh, you deserve a break, you should get a break, da da da, I eventually said, you know what, yeah. And then I got a taste of that, and then I start smoking and drinking and doing all this stuff. Till this day, people be like, oh, this happened, that happened, and I'm like, what? Are you serious? That happened? Like, I don't even have that same Facebook. Like, that page got deleted But people, like, clearly I can see, okay, yeah, I cut my hair. Yeah, I would put on weird contacts in my eyes and I would do this or that. But at the end of the day, all I can feel is, okay, I lost my mind because all I knew was to be a mother and a wife. And then I got a taste of the real world and I just basically just ran with it. And I feel like a piece of crap. I feel like a terrible mother. I feel like a terrible wife that I let something get, the influences get to me. But so basically, you know, the reason I act like that is because I'm like, okay, I feel like I can see the kids whenever I want because they're with my family. It's not like they just got taken away. You know, I can still basically see them whenever I want. But just like I would see my husband whenever I want, but he wasn't making that public. He wanted to basically he wanted to basically, you know, be in the now about it, not say anything because he's like, I can go to jail if I'm seen with you. So we had to be sneaky. I had to be sneaky with stuff. But eventually people get tired of that. So eventually I snap back into reality. I'm like, yeah, I want my family back. Like, I don't like this. I'm not choosing partying and doing all this stuff over my kids. And another stupid thing that I did was basically let people make a fool out of me, I would say. Like, I would be like, oh, well, I'm going to do a skit. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do all this stuff. Because the more I make a fool about myself, the more I felt like he's going to be like, okay, let me hop into husband mode and let me take care of her. That's why I was acting so crazy, because I wanted him to be like, okay, we can be a family again. But once I realized that, yeah, that's not working, I'm being delusional. Just because me and you is still going, you know, and sleeping with each other don't mean that me and you are back together. Just because I see my kids here and there don't mean we're a family. I want the real thing back. And I got the real thing back, as you can see. But before that, yeah, I would do all types of bad stuff and do all that. And who's going to want... Yeah, who's going to want that crazy person back? But yeah, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, if I make a total fool out of myself and stuff, he's going to feel bad for me and just, you know, try to protect me. But clearly that didn't work. Clearly that just drew everything out. But I've been mumbling and grumbling for 13 minutes. And I wanted to make these videos at nighttime because, like I said, distractions, babies, and, you know, I'm in the middle of making dinner and all that stuff. People are coming in the basement now. But, yeah, the moral of the story is don't do that. I probably don't even have to tell y'all that. But anybody's thinking about, you know, as a house, yeah, as a housewife, as a house mom and all that, if people are telling you that, oh, you know, you should do this or that, don't listen to them. I honestly felt like people were jealous. Now that I'm actually through that phase of my life, I feel like people were jealous and they wanted my life. So they would be like, oh, do that, do this, do that. In reality, it's like, no, I was fine being at home. I was fine being a mom. I was fine doing that. I was fine doing this. But at the end of the day, I'm not doing it now. And you see what won. My family won. I don't know what else to talk about. But just like I said, this was just basically like a draft, a rough draft. Tell me anything y'all want to know. But the more of the story, like, I could go more in detail. It did not help because, like, you guys asked me what happened and all that stuff. But it's like, I don't know. It's like, I know. But at the same time, it's like, why were you doing all that stuff? Because I wanted my husband attention. I wanted him to be like, yo, I'm taking you back. I'm, you know, going to take care of you again. Because I see that you cannot you know, I see that you cannot, what is that word? Live on your own, basically. You're making all the wrong decisions. You're doing all this. You're doing all this. But that did not work. And when I snapped back in reality and seen that, yeah. So, like, no, I did not get laced. No, I did not have mental illnesses. It's literally just a simple fact that I was trying to get attention. But clearly, all attention is not good attention. And that's why I stopped doing all that, because that's stupid. That wasn't worth it. You guys got to give me way more details, more questions to ask. That's why Facebook Live is cooler, because I get to see stuff and comment on it. But yeah, the moral of the story is don't do that. And the moral of the story is all that 6 months that happened, a lot of stuff was just lies. A lot of stuff was just things that want me to make people feel bad for me. Hey, look how down bad she is. Let's help her out. But instead, I just got made fun of, and instead, I just was single for longer. Like I said, my delusional self over here, like, oh, well, he's still doing it to me, so that means we together. No, it don't. You were single. And you hated it. You wanted to be a family. But okay, let me know what else y'all want me to talk about.